Hi and welcome everybody to Money Monk Mondays, delivered on a Tuesday. Apologies for that, but I have been flat out preparing for the Fire Yourself workshop in 2019, and I can't wait to deliver that. If you are an entrepreneur, business person who wants to build a business that runs independently of you, make sure you attend the workshop live. It's on the Gold Coast. I'll give you a few more details in a moment, but it will really serve you and help you. I've been doing this work for 30 years with business owners, and I've helped many of them build businesses that run independently of them. And some of them have just gone off and earn really good passive income from their business and go and have an amazing lifestyle. The more entrepreneurial types have gone on and built 3 or 4 businesses that run with a few hours a week of their input. Now, I learned how to do this because I did it myself as a young surfer. I wanted to go surfing all the time, so I set my businesses up to run without me having to be there all the time so I could chase swell. And that benefited me greatly because I also, as my life priorities changed, got to spend an incredible amount of time with my family and had way less stress than most business owners. I actually learned how to do it from 2 mentors when I had jack of the normal 9-to-5 working life when I was 19, and I moved to Hawaii, and there was these 2 guys that had always been in the surf. They were a lot older than me. They would have been in their 40s at that age, very fit, healthy specimens of human beings. And they were on every swell that I was on. And when they'd disappear, I'd sort of say, where have you been? And they'd been away in Europe with their families skiing. And I wanted to know how they did it. And it was interesting because these were the first people that I had ever met that built their businesses to support their passions. Because where I grew up, people built businesses that just continued the whole hard working ethic that we all grew up with. So when I met these 2 mentors, I went, this is amazing. I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can from them. That led me to doing that for myself, and then I started doing it for others. And I really honed those skills in doing it for others while training a lot of the top franchise purchasers for Action International, Worldwide Printing, Snap Printing, many of the hair and beauty franchises, and super entrepreneurs that had set up hair salons. And my job was to work with them to help them build them out of their business. And that, of course, meant developing their psychology so they could do that, as well as inputting the systems in the required team. And so at the Fire Yourself workshop, I'm sharing all that in a very structured manner. You will leave that workshop with very clear work-ons around what you need to do to build your business so it runs without you having to be there all the time. Now, you might be a person who likes to work in your business, like I do. I love this. I have other business interests that sort of produce me income without too much work from me, but this is my mission in this business. And by the way, my mission isn't in reality helping people get really, really wealthy, even though it's a byproduct of it. My mission is about evolving and growing human beings. And this is just business as a vehicle that I love, helping business people and investors, because as you know, a byproduct of this work is you have to face every pattern within your personal consciousness that stops you achieving your dreams. And that means that you start taking really good, hard look at yourself. And certainly people that work with me at the highest levels are really working on developing their mind, their brain, overcoming patterns, creating superpowers of consciousness. When we talk about superpowers of consciousness, when you do good quality inner work, you evolve very fast. You get an improved intellect and improved intuitive abilities, far greater ability to make wise decisions because you're not impacted by the belief systems you grew up with or emotions. Most people are ruled by emotions in their decision-making processes. So the Fire Yourself workshop is on the 15th of September on the Gold Coast of Australia. It's really worth, if you're living elsewhere, it's really worth traveling for that. But also I'm going to record it, and I'll probably package it up after the event, and it will end up selling for like, I don't know, $300 or $400 because it's vital information. But if you want the recording, just book the event now and you just get it at the event price, which is $99 for the day's ticket, and you get the recording. But you'll get some deep insight from that workshop. Okay, a couple of things that I want to cover off on today. I want to do a critique of an advert of a client of mine. I just think he did an absolutely brilliant job, and I really see how he has evolved as a marketer. Let's just talk about that for a second. If you're in business and you don't like marketing, you're in trouble. If you don't like marketing, you've got to be a bit concerned about that. It means you're going to have to employ people that really love marketing, because marketing and sales are the only things that make money in the business. So the better you get at marketing, the more money you make, the better off your business is. That's just the bottom line. A lot of people do have blocks around that kind of thing, but marketing and sales are the lifeblood of the business. And interesting enough, the better your marketing is, the less you have to sell. So marketing itself, good quality marketing, overcomes objections, so that the person from that marketing is ready to buy. Okay, so I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. Let's share the screen of this new software I have. So just bear with me. Okay, here we go. So in a way, what we're going to be doing here is looking at the anatomy of a really good ad. And I'm going to give this a shameless plug, actually. This guy, this is Dax Stanley. He is a pretty amazing character, and I think he has a pretty outstanding mission in that he puts together eco investments. If you get on his list, and I'll give you a way to do that down below in the comments probably, because I hadn't planned to do that, but I want to give him a plug because he does great work, and anyone that's doing work for the environment, I'm certainly happy to support. So I'll put that link below. And actually, he's into all. He got me into to stop me using the plastic shavers, and he sent like anything that to do with the environment. He sort of sends you messages about and what have you. But the reason this ad is really good is the subject here was good news and bad news. So obviously this is an email, good news and bad news. By the way, the use of icons in messages these days through email and Facebook certainly aids conversion, because it draws your eye and sort of breaks everyone else's just got text. That won't last long. When all the marketers work out what works, everyone will be doing it. But in the meantime, do it until everyone else works it out. But the great thing about this, so I'm going to break this down into the anatomy of a good ad. So the first thing is that your headline should be the advertisement for your advertisement. So weak headlines never work. You have to stand out. Now, there's a reason for this. When my father read the newspaper when he was younger, he saw every ad in that newspaper. He'd even read the ads, a lot of them. These days, we don't see ads. And this is a survival mechanism of the brain. So all of you watching this will recognize this when I say it. When you read things nowadays, your brain filters out all the distractions. And we have never lived in an environment with so many distractions. So you look at the amount of advertising that we are bombarded with. So the brain, out of its wisdom, goes, I am not going to see all this stuff because I just need to concentrate on these things, whatever it is that you're doing, reading an article or whipping through your inbox. It just ignores. It's very quick to ignore anything but what's a priority to it. But the brain has a thing called the reticular activating system. And with the reticular activating system, we see things that are important to us. So as an example, if you're suffering from itchy feet, and it's a bit chronic for you, I'm just making that up, by the way. It's just pimples might be a better one, but itchy feet. What happens is you could be reading a newspaper or an article on a website or scrolling through an inbox. And the brain, as I said before, it filters out everything. But out of the corner of the eye, there might be, say, something, solution for itchy feet. Your reticular activating system will just hone in on it, almost unnaturally, like it's unconscious how this works. It'll just hone in on it. Why? Because that messaging is important to your brain. Because you're unconsciously looking for solutions to problems, as well as consciously. But just at this point, it's often unconsciously, because you know you're doing your thing. You've got itchy feet, but you're doing your thing, and you're just reading, not thinking about itchy feet. It's sort of there. It's annoying you, but the unconscious will see the ad, even in the periphery, itchy feet, and draw you to it. Okay. So that's why subjects are really important, and that's why having really clearly defined avatars is really important, so you know their problem. If this headline, this is not such a targeted headline to a problem, but here's how this works, this particular headline. It's a really good headline. If you know someone, I know Dax, but if you know an organization that you respect or have an interest in. So those of you that are Apple fanboys and fangirls, think about what would happen if Apple sent you an email saying good news and bad news. Okay, so you'd respond. You see, any organization that we have a relationship with, or any person that we have a relationship with, when we see good news and bad news, it cultivates deep interest and concern and care and also excitement. Right? Think about that. If it came bad news, we'd open this. But when it's got bad news and good news, that's the juxtaposition that really triggers curiosity about someone or an organization that you care for or have a relationship with. So this is a good advertisement that draws the reticular activating system to the ad. And that's all a headline does. It's the advertisement that gets people to enter the ad. Now, obviously, this is an email, so I saw that. I click and open the link. Nice enough here. We've got a good graphic, and again, the good news and the bad news. Here's your insight into the eco investments and updates. But I'm still going, well, what's the good news and bad news? Okay, so would you be if you received this from an organization or someone that you knew? So again, talking about the anatomy of a good ad, great headline that accesses a person's reticular activating system. Then when we get into the body of the ad, recently I've been receiving the same Facebook private message. Hey Dax, when's the next eco investment you are doing? Great, but here comes the clanger. I guess it's no surprise our first eco development was in 2016 and made a great profit of 26% on cost. Yep, a 26%. Since then, we have completed 3 more eco investments, and every time all deals sold out in a month. So we just look at the anatomy of that. Hey, Dax, when's the next eco investment you're doing? Recently, I've been receiving the same Facebook private message. Hey, Dax, when's the next eco investment you were doing? Okay. So, you know, we live in this really weird world. In fact, I'm doing a live cast and I'm going sideways here, peoples, but I have things I'm really passionate about, and the world's gone mad. I'm actually over the way the world is at the moment. I'm over journalism, and I'm going to be doing a live cast in the Upgrade Yourself Facebook group. So make sure you'll see the link somewhere up and down here to that Upgrade Yourself Facebook group. I'm going to do a live cast on the requirements for wisdom. We don't have wisdom in the world at the moment. We have people following ideologies, playing I have to be right, you're wrong, and it's just a recipe for disaster. So if you're interested in that, it'll be very deep. It's going to be very insightful. I'll be going to depths that I don't normally go to around human behavior, because what we're seeing in the world is the expression of the individual ego played out within group ego. And it's frightening, to say the least. So, yep, if you're interested, make sure you go join the Upgrade Yourself Facebook group, because I plan to do that in the next few days. Anyway, why am I talking about that? We live in this ridiculous world where, as an example, the more followers that you have, the more people want to follow you. It doesn't matter whether that person's wise, doesn't matter whether, it's just that the whole concept that if someone has a lot of followers, has a lot of influence, whether they're wise or not, people will put them up on a pedestal. Well, Daxy's actually using this in this email. Hey, Dax, when's the next eco investment you were doing? I've already seen the same five. So he's showing in that opening line that people want him. People are communicating with him. He's already setting the tone of being really successful to the point where people are contacting him about what he has to offer. That's really good positioning. There used to be old ads in the old days that said 30,000 purchases can't be wrong. 1.3 million purchases can't be wrong. And extrapolating on what I said before, I have 500,000 followers on Facebook. That should prove my validity. So this is, again, I'm making a joke of that stuff. But as business people, these are the principles you need to understand, the psychological principles that help convert. Conversion means money. So he's done that really well there. And then he's taken that even further, because he now has a proof element, and the proof element is what we call a hard proof element. But it's no surprise that I've got all these people contacting me again. See, look at that. I've got 26% on cost. Yep, 26%. Okay, so he's done two things there. People really want this. And no wonder they want it, because look at what I'm getting them. Since then, we've completed 3 more eco investments, and every time all deals sold out in a month. Okay, so in there, he's reinforcing again that people want him, want what he has, want access to these eco developments to support the planet and make money. Probably getting that. Then, and this is the brilliance of this, he then goes into, so I have good news and bad news. I want to just come back, because I should have probably shared that before. This here, good news and bad news, it sets up, as I said, the reticular activating system, but it's like, what? This tension. What's happening to Daxy? What's happening to his business? What bad news has he got? What good news does he have? That's the tension that draws you into the ad that must be resolved, but he doesn't resolve it to the bottom until these vital conversion elements have been placed up top. Once again, people are all contacting me. They want this. 10,000 flies can't be wrong about this. You get it? And here's why they want it. Value claim. Now, and again, stating that they've sold out, which pulls it back into this is in high demand, but it's scarce. So I have good news and bad news. The good news is we're investing in another eco development again in the next week. The bad news is you'll probably miss out if you don't act fast. Wow. Really, really good advertising. Very good. And done so short. That's the other thing. Like, it's the other great thing I love about this email. It's done in what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines. Wow, that's good writing. His sign off is good because his sign off, here's how I can help you. So this would be pretty much under all his emails. When I first set up to do the critique of this ad, I was only really interested in this, but this is great too down here. Right, this is the bulk of it, what they come for. But here's some really good stuff. If you're really interested in the environment, if you're really interested in investing and you've got environmental tendency, you're going to be reading through all of this. This is really interesting. And down here, this is real mission statements about his real deep concern for the environment. So you know, well, I'll be cynical here. I know Daxi, so he's 100% in integrity. He's a warrior for the environment, to be honest. But let's just imagine he wasn't, and he is. This is like if you put this, anyone with these values is going to go, oh, I trust Daxi because I have the same values. I really care about the environment. So there's real value alignment down the bottom here of the newsletter. Anyway, that's just brilliant, and I wanted to share that with everybody. By the way, if you are advertising, flick me through some of your ads and I'll give you a critique in the inner circle. Okay, I'm going back to driving my machine and see if I can. Okay, I think I'm back. This is all new to me, this thing I'm doing. I stopped sharing down here, so it can't be. Now I'm back by the look of it. So I hope you got a lot from that. And as I said, if you want to some ads critiqued, something I actually like to do, and you might be asking, well, where did you learn this? And you understand human behavior like I do. You understand how ads work and why they work. Just going to give you Daxi's, I'll chuck Daxi's website down below here. You may be interested in finding out about this 26% and saving the environment. Okay, that's this one. And remember, make sure if you're an entrepreneur or business owner who wants to build the business in a way that it doesn't trap you, you want operational efficiency, you want to have fun and more profit, make sure you join me in my Fire Yourself workshop. See ya.